Don't know what happened.
No intro today?
No intro. I played it and it just stopped. What's going on, boys and girls? Gate 7 International. We messed up the intro, but it's all right. How are you guys doing today? I'm not feeling so great. It was not so great performance today. It started off all right, but it ended up, unfortunately, in a draw. Costa, I guess you've seen better days.
Malaga, what is this? You're being very kind of nonchalant. Like, it's a horrible night.
It is horrible, but I'm trying not to be. I'm trying not to be like super upset, because if I let myself get upset, it'll just carry forward, and I'll just get worse and worse and worse. It might get that way as the show goes on. Who knows?
Guys, thank you for joining us. Sunday night. Well, it's going into Monday, Greek time. It's past midnight. It's good to be back after the international break. We're all looking forward to see Olympiacos again. After it always feels like it's an eternity when Olympiacos isn't playing. And yeah, good to see you again, guys. Thanks for joining. We are Gate 7 International, your number one English source for all things Olympiacos. Fans joining from all over the world: Greece, United States, Australia, Germany, France, Belgium, if I've forgotten some of you, Denmark, I know a few from Denmark as well. Wherever you're tuning in, write us in the chat. Let us know your thoughts about today's game. Ari and I are here. We're gonna talk about the game. Like, subscribe. It really helps the channel, help us to grow the community. We've reached over 2,900 subscribers. Thank you all so much for your support. We see many of you loyal fans and followers in the chat, some new ones as well. And to the Greek fans that might be tuning in for the first time, we do speak Greek. We do understand Greek. This channel is predominantly an international channel to help grow Olympiakos around the world. So please feel free to write Greek in the chat or address us in Greek. Absolutely fine, no problems. But please respect that this is also predominantly an English-speaking initiative to help grow the club. Did I miss something, Ari? I think it's...
No, you didn't actually. Just a couple quick words from our sponsors. For those of you that are shipping in and out of Greece, whether it's from the United States to Greece, Greece to the UK, you name it, our friends at Piraeus International can help you. Just visit them at their site, www.piraeusintl.com. You can send them an email, get all the information for any shipping needs you may have in and out of the US to Greece, wherever your things have to go. You can give them a call also at 410-675-4696. And lastly, of course, guys, we continue to have our promo code with BetUS. The odds are fantastic. I've been using them for Champions League. Bet cards are going up for Champions League as well. As things go on, maybe we can get close to the semifinals. We'll do them for Europa League and Conference League as well. Use our promo code. It's Gate7INTL in all caps for a 125% deposit boost on account creation. Check it out, and maybe you can win some money. Gosa, I think there was some other, was it the women's basketball team? Did they win the title today? Or yesterday? It was today.
Yeah, man, as happy as I am for the women's basketball team, and beating Panathinaikos earlier in the week as well, and there were some amazing videos that have come out. If you don't follow Two Future for You, the YouTube channel, they've got a really nice Instagram page. There's some amazing videos that they've done. I wanted to play some of them today on the show, but I'm not in the mood. I'm not in a partying mood. We're going to get into it. I'm going to go straight to the comments because it's been a while. Let's have a look at some of these comments. Harry, hurry up. He's like Batiste. Thank you, Harry. Outlaw Jorge is back. He's not happy with Retsos. We'll get into that. It's over, in my opinion, he says. Let's hope we finish second. Manos G7, Yasur and Mano, my boy, and Naxian. If Ganos and Bano are okay, we can finish first and second. If not, I can't see how we can do this. I prefer to draw today, as happened, than lose Ganos and Bar for many games, especially Ganos. He's crucial. TF91, hi guys, nice to see you again, and you, my friend. See some Alexandros, I think, from Sweden is in here as well. What else do we have in the chat? Lakis Gavalas is back. Today's game demonstrated the poor mentality of the team. Second time we get tied after going 2 up. It's not a coincidence. Andreas Mitzis, Yasu Andrea. It's questionable match coaching from Mitchell as he gives away command at 2-1. And where is Cisse? We've got Bunio tuning in from Poland as well. Gus Drax. Do you know what? Gus, you know, Ari fucked up the intro today, man. We didn't even listen to
I played it. It stopped by itself. I didn't do that.
So he's saying,
sorry.
Right, so Gus Drax. Gus Drax is the guy that wrote the record that features in our intro. Gus is saying, let's just hope these things will become a lesson, and in the summer we'll get rid of all the ex-players and we'll get real athletes. Because Gus is in, like, I feel like we need to play the intro. Like, I feel it's wrong. It's wrong that there's no intro. Do you know what?
We got cheated. We'll just throw it up. We'll
do
it
now.
Now they're not cheated out of the intro.
Now we did it properly.
Now it's done properly. Well, Costa, let's get to it because the questions are coming in. Let's talk some post-match. And you know what? Let's just get started, as we always do, with your thoughts about the lineup going into the game, the exclusions from the game day roster, most notably, as some people are bringing up, Ndoye, Nozimer, Potuzzi again. Give me a little bit of your opinion on what you saw with that.
Listen, to be honest with you, I was surprised as anyone to see Kasami was starting today. I think a lot of us expected Samaseku in bomb, but otherwise it was the lineup that I expected. Happy to see Biel got the start as well ahead of Masuras. Until things started going wrong, I wasn't thinking about the omissions of Doi from the bench,
right?
Or even Samaseku not starting, because to be honest with you, I think the first half was some of the best football we've seen all season from Olympiacos, and that's of course relative to the football we've been seeing this season, which has been relatively poor compared to what we're used to. So I really liked the trio behind Bakabu. I thought the chemistry was really clicking between Fortunis, Canos, and Biel. Particularly, just Canos was a nightmare for Aris in the first half. His movement off the ball, he's finding himself in good positions, beating players, taking opponents one-on-one.
Pressing. He was pressing too. Him and Bakambu were pressing like madmen.
There was a certain style and swagger to the team. And the swagger, I think, is kind of what you see instilled from the manager. Like there was confidence. Like there was a team playing with confidence and belief that we're going to go out there, we're going to score, and we did. We went 1-0 up with a fantastic goal from Inbom in the first half, and it could have been more. Biel's wasted a golden opportunity. I think 8 minutes into the game. He's on his right foot and he's onside and he blasts it wide, and we that should have opened the score. So it could at least 2 or 3 in the first half, and then all of a sudden the injury and everything falls apart. The chemistry starts to already. When was it? I think Canos comes off around the 33 minute mark. And after that, it just kind of went flat already. So, there was that damper in the first half. And then that was just made worse when Bar came off. So we
Mhm.
lost spark in the attacking thirds. We lost that chemistry that was working really well. And then, Bar coming off, we lost the defensive solidity. And then that's where you start asking questions. It's like, why is Doy not on the bench? Isn't Doy our third choice centre back? When did Rezos become our third choice centre back? Why? What's the reason? And then should I go on? Or should
No, let it out, man. Let it out. Go
just,
ahead.
I mean, then of course Rezos makes the mistake, and it's 2-1, and he's already got the three subs ready before Rezos makes the mistake. So he was ready to put on Mvila, Rodriguez, and who was the other one? Samaseku for Fortunis, Juan, and Bakambu. And you're thinking it's 2-1 now, and you're going to take off our only striker. You're not bringing El Arabi on. You're not bringing Valbuena on, who's statistically, have a look at the stats that we've been putting up on our socials. Valbuena is statistically one of, if not the most creative player, per 90 in the Greek Super League. And you bring on Gary Rodriguez, and you leave Valbuena and Arabi on the bench.
Yeah.
After that 2-1, the game's changed, but he makes the changes as if nothing's changed. So he thinks it's a great idea to bring these guys on and leave us with no striker. And this Masura's false nine, no, I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on in with this three up front with no striker. Rodriguez was going to the middle. The only one that wasn't going to the middle was Pep Biel, who's played as a false nine. I'll stop my rant there. We're going to talk some more.
No, and while we're on the subject of that, my only gripe was seeing Rezos in the lineup ahead of Doy, because it was him instead of Ndoy. And that was my only thing. I actually didn't have an issue with Kasemi starting. I didn't think he was awful in the last game, to be honest with you. And okay, it's not like we have a whole lot of options with injuries, with Jan Villa hurt and just coming back. I didn't expect him to be starting. But there are a couple issues I had. First of all, with the triple sub, the substitution for me was all wrong. You want it. We're 2-1. Okay, it's 2-1. Rezos gives up a stupid goal, absolute amateurish footballing ability on that. I don't understand what was going through his mind. I don't understand what the hell he was doing. But momentum has swung. It was already starting to swing the other way. When Carnos got hurt, a lot of stuff changed. Oleg, until he got injured in that first half, Oleg was overlapping constantly. Again, second game in a row, we started to see a lot more positive motion, a lot more positive action coming from that left side from Oleg, who almost never gets forward. The second Carlos came off, where did all of that movement from Oleg come? I think it was maybe one or two overlaps the rest of the game. Is that by design? Maybe. Does he not have the same trust in Masuras as he did with Ganos to want to do that? Maybe. But when you make a triple sub, you're 2-1 up, you know that they're starting to build momentum, and you're comfortable with three defensive midfielders when they're starting to come back into the game. Because in the second half, I mean, they started to possess a little bit more than we did. I think in the end, overall possession was fairly even, but in the second half, they started to come back. So you're coming in, and then in the process of doing those substitutions, you're leaving yourself with three defensive midfielders. You're holding the lead at home. You're defending the lead at home against Aris. I'm going to repeat that. You're defending the lead at home against Aris. This is not Ike, right? This is not the Ike of this year. And this comment from Paris _ Zaf is spot on. The coaching today was something we would see in a horror movie. It really was. You had Costa. You brought up the Valbuena stats. The guy is best in class. Now I know he's only played like one full 90, I think, all this season. So all of that data is aggregated on a per 90-minute basis. But the fact still that at his age, when he's on the field, the fact that he's producing something every couple of minutes on the ball. Why in God's name didn't you bring either him or El Arabi on? I understand bringing another defensive midfielder on. Fine, Samaseko. But why Samaseko and Mvila? Why not introduce Valbuena, who you know is going to draw fouls, disrupt Aris's rhythm, who you know is going to get balls forward into the penalty area? After all, when you compare him to other regular starters in Greek Super League, he has the most contributions in the final third, the most contributions inside the penalty area, the most pass to assists, the most everything offensively. Costa, the bars were 100% on like every offensive category. Yeah. Why? I don't understand. It's the whole thing is unbelievable to me. And one other thing, Costa, because as much as I do place the blame on Michel, we have to finish our chances. Do you know how many shots we had inside the penalty area today?
I didn't see the stats, to be honest, but I think we had more than 22 shots overall.
We did 20 shots inside the penalty area. Costa, you know how many times in the last 4 years we've done that? Sorry, 3 years. 3 years. I didn't go back far enough. For
last 3, including this one?
Including the season. Do you know how many times we've done that? So I'm going to tell you, we have never done it in a derby before. It has not been done in the last 3 years. And in the last 3 years, we have done it, besides this game, twice. Once against Offi back in January, on the January 29th, when we beat them 2-1. We had an XG of 4.5. 20 shots in the goal, or inside the penalty area. The last time we did that besides that was 3 years ago against Banyoños. We don't do that very often. The fact that we had 20 shots inside the penalty area and we couldn't finish. And the funny thing is, the two that we finished, the Inbom Huang chance was not a high scoring opportunity. It was a great shot. The goal from Socrates was a high XG opportunity, but the rest weren't. It's unbelievable to me that we can't put away these chances. 20 shots, Costa, inside the box. 20 shots inside the box and you score one of them. It's unacceptable. We have to do better with that. Now, again, not to take away blame from Michel, because I put a lot of blame on him. That triple substitution was horrible. But we have to be finishing our chances, man. We're going to have an XG of like 5 or at least 4 from this game. It's incredible. It's absolutely unbelievable. And I don't know what else to say about that.
Well, I think we should open the lines tonight.
I'm 100% down.
What do you think?
We'll get any takers?
Let's see. Okay, guys. We haven't done this for a while. We're going to open the lines. I think there's a lot we can talk about tonight. Like there's always more to talk about when you haven't won. But no, honestly, I want to go back to some of the comments in the chat. If you can drop the link in the chat, Ari. Guys, join us. We're opening the lines tonight. Ari's going to put the link in the chat. Come on, tell us your thoughts about the game. Come chat with us. Again, Greek speaker, go to town. Elate na milisme. Excuse me. Right. Somebody's talking about... Yes, sorry, Ari.
As a disclaimer, too, for those that maybe don't want to show their face, you can cut the camera feed and just do audio. That's also fine for us. For those that maybe they don't have enough bandwidth for video, maybe they don't have the capabilities for video, just come in and do audio then. That's fine, too.
Maybe you're naked in your room.
Listen, man,
you don't want to know. Just turn the camera off. You only need a microphone. Right. Mano saying, where's Bertucci? I have the same question too, Mano. I think, to say that Masouras has had a bad season is an understatement. I've got nothing against the guy, and I really don't like it sometimes. A lot of times in Greece, Greek players have to work incredibly hard to earn praise from Greek fans. But as soon as Greek players are on a slump, or as soon as a Greek player is underperforming, not playing well, like they're the first ones to hear it. And I don't like that. But yeah, like Masouras Sinazin has sucked big time. I think he's further down the pecking order. Like, I don't understand this. You know, we bought Bertucci in on a permanent transfer in January. For what? He's not even on the bench today. And we all know what Gary Rodriguez can and cannot do.
When he's healthy.
Yeah, and he's limited even when he's or at least he's one of those players that when he's got rhythm, you'll lose him after 2-3 games anyway, because you know he's going to get injured. He's not like, he had an amazing game against Freiburg. I think it was away from home, and he got injured. You know, it's like just when he picks up, you're just like, oh, he's injured again. So you know you can't rely on him. I see we have somebody that is in the chat already.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Bring him on.
Hello.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Fine. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Paris. I'm calling from Redis.
Γεια σου, Πάρη. Άμα θες μίλα και ελληνικά.
Οκ, φίλε. Έβλεπα το απόψινο από ένα μαγαζί στο Πειραιά. Δεν πήγε πολύ καλά.
You don't say.
Διπλωματικά το λες.
Ήθελα να πω πως δεν θα ασχοληθώ τόσο πολύ στο λάθος του Πρέτσου, αλλά στο κοουτσάρισμα που ήταν εγκληματικό, πιστεύω, δεν ξέρω. Δεν γίνεται να αλλάζεις όλο το κέντρο και να περιμένεις να νικήσεις έτσι και να αφήνεις... Τι κάνεις, το Μασούρα Σεντερφόρ μόνο του? Δεν μπορείς να το κάνεις αυτό το πράγμα.
Να σου ρωτήσω κάτι. Στο τέλος κάνει κάτι δηλώσεις στο post-match στην Κοσμοτέ ο Μίτσελ και λέει για 70 λεπτά ήμουνα καλός προπονητής και για 20 ήμουνα κακός. Εσύ τι πιστεύεις για αυτή τη δήλωση? Τη θεωρείς από σαρκασμό? Πώς το αντίκρισες αυτό?
Τι να πω.
Να πεις κι εγώ.
Μάλλον σαρκασμός θα είναι προς τον κόσμο, ότι καλά όταν νικάω είμαι καλός, όταν χάνω είμαι χάλια να με διώξουν και τα λοιπά. Μάλλον σαρκασμός ήταν αυτός. Δεν ξέρω, είμαι εκεί.
Έχουμε ξενερώσει τη ζωή μας όλοι σήμερα, φίλε. Εντάξει, τώρα...
Ναι, βρήκες την κατάλληλη λέξη, πιστεύω.
Paris, να σε απαντήσω... Paris, να σε απαντήσω στα αγγλικά, okay? Because I don't know who in the audience does or does not speak Greek.
Okay.
So, for me, it's the... Για μένα είναι το ίδιο for Michel the last time he was here. Do you remember when everybody kept saying he ran out of ideas? He was running out of ideas the second half of the second season.
Ήμουνα λίγο μικρός τότε, αλλά από ότι...
Πόσο χρόνο είσαι?
18 είμαι λίγο πιο... ναι.
Okay, well, so...
Why are you laughing? Man?
Συγγνώμη αν σας απογοητεύω λίγο.
Όχι ρε.
So, in the end of his tenure, his first coaching, I'll say his first stint with us, if that's the correct word for it, the end of that second season before he got let go, it was a lot of this. We would be leading, and then all of a sudden some strange substitutions, and then we would drop points or lose a game. And this is to me where you see the real Michel, the lack of tactics. I don't know. So I don't know, Costa. What do you think goes through his head?
The thing is, right, what he did today for me is undefendable.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's undefendable because the subs he made. So you couldn't. I agree, and there's a few people that have mentioned it in the chat. Like, we were super unlucky. Like, when Canos got injured, I was just I was swearing at the TV. I was just like, Gamoti, like, this can't be happening right now. It was like, we finally find a shape for the team. We start to play some football with some style. Things are working, and then Canos gets injured, and you're just like, oh, for God's sake. And you know that Masouras can't give you what Canos gives you. You know that none of the wingers we have on the roster can give you what he's bought. Like, Canos has literally come in as a January transfer window, and he's settled into the team really quickly. And I think even over the break now, the international break, he gelled with the team more. Like, you could see that today. And Mitchell can do nothing about that, about Canos getting injured. Mitchell can do nothing about Usain Ubar getting injured in the second half. But it's his choice to put Retos on. It's his choice to leave Doi out of the matchday squad. It's his choice to make a triple substitution right after Aris bring the score back to 2-1.
And have 3 DMs.
And it's his choice not to change his mind and think, the game's changed now. I'm not going to make these 3 subs. And they're saying that Inbom came off because he was exhausted. Like, he's played against Colombia, he played against Uruguay. Like, he'd been traveling a lot for international duty, and he had to come off. But did you have to play with 3 DMs and no striker?
No. No, that's it. You didn't, Costa. You did not. What? I don't get. Can Valbuena not play 15 minutes? He can't play 15 minutes? Oh, sorry, there was 7 minutes of extra time. He can't play 22 minutes?
I want to ask Πάρη, συμφωνείς με αυτά που είπα, ή εσύ τι θα έκανες? Εσύ, ας πούμε, τι ήθελες να δεις διαφορετικό στο δεύτερο ημίχρονο? Πέρα από τους τραυματισμούς που είπαμε ότι δεν μπορείς να κάνεις κάτι, τι πιστεύεις ότι μπορούσε να είχε κάνει?
Εννοείται δεν μπορείς να κάνεις κάτι για τους τραυματισμούς. Προσωπικά δεν θα άλλαζα όλο το κέντρο. Δεν γίνεται να βγάζεις τον Χουάνκ και τον Φορτούνι, που είναι πιστεύω αυτοί οι δύο επηρέασαν πάρα πολύ το παιχνίδι θετικά στην αρχή. Και να το αλλάζεις παντελώς, να μην έχει χημεία το κέντρο, με αποτέλεσμα να τρως 2 χαζά γκολ στο τέλος. Επίσης, άκουσα κάτι από έναν διπλανό μου στο μαγαζί που το βλέπα, ότι και καλά μπήκε το πρώτο γκολ και χαλάει ψυχολογία, με αποτέλεσμα να μπει το δεύτερο. Παίζεις ποδόσφαιρο, εννοείται θα δεχτείς κάποια στιγμή γκολ. Δεν γίνεται να παρατάς το παιχνίδι επειδή μπήκε ένα γκολ. Και αυτό βλέπω από την αρχή της σεζόν. Θυμάμαι αυτά τα τραγικά μάτς στην αρχή που έμπαινε γκολ, δεν το βάζαμε πρώτη και μετά όλη η ομάδα καταστρεφόταν. Αυτό μπορεί να έχει αλλάξει λίγο τώρα, αλλά βλέπω ακόμα σημάδια από αυτό το πράγμα στην αρχή. Επίσης, είναι κάποια μάτς που ο Μίτσελ, ας πούμε, τα μάτς με τον Παναθηναϊκό, πιστεύω τα διαχειρίστηκε πάρα πολύ καλά ο Μίτσελ. Βλέπεις αυτά τα μάτς και λες ότι ωραία, εντάξει, ξέρει τι κάνει. Και μετά είναι... Ναι. Και μετά βλέπεις αυτά τα μάτς και παίρνεις πίσω τα λόγια σου. Ναι.
I agree. There's Manos is putting an interesting comment here. Remember when he subbed on El Arabi and we conceded a goal because of him? What was that, against AEK? Yeah, sure. But even you had Biel on the pitch. And he's the only one that didn't play as a front man. But still,
we didn't concede in the 90th, but we conceded before.
Again.
Κάτι γι' αυτό.
Yeah. Let's see some other comments. Dimitris Theodorou, I think this is a new one. Yasu Dimitri says, we haven't had a proper winger since Pedenza left. Canos actually looked like a decent player, but now we've lost him as well. They're talking about a knee ligament injury. Obviously, we're all hoping it's not serious, but even if it's not, then he's going to miss the PAOK game. He's probably going to miss a few games.
Costa, like I told you right before we went live, I'm hoping that it's not ACL at least. I mean, both times I tore my ACL, those of you that have heard me talk about it, I've torn my ACL twice, both legs. And I've torn everything. I've torn every ligament at least once. I had to be helped off the field. Like, I could not walk by myself when I first tore them. And I hobbled so slowly. He seemed like he was functional, at least in my opinion. He seemed like he was functional, sort of. So I'm hoping that maybe it's even, and here's the thing, even if it's another ligament, right, like meniscus, that's still weeks out. Possibly surgery, depending on how bad it is. So he's still, for me, done for the rest of the season, one way or another, whether it's minor or not. What do they call them when they're not the bad sprain? Even if it's a sprain.
A strain or
strain or sprain. It's still
pulled
done.
ligament. Like a pulled ligament's a couple of weeks, man. 3 weeks. Like can be. But Ari, I want to ask you a question before we let you go.
No.
Ας ρωτήσω ελληνικά. Εσένα σαν Ολυμπιακός και σαν παιδί από Πειραιά, σε ενδιαφέρει, είναι σημαντικό για σένα να βλέπεις Έλληνες να παίζουν στον Ολυμπιακό?
That's a good question.
Από πού προήλθε αυτή η ερώτηση?
Όχι, γιατί το είπα νωρίτερα ότι γενικά τους Έλληνες, ρε παιδί μου, για να τους αποθεώσουμε, θέλει πολύ. Δηλαδή, καταλαβαίνεις τι λέω. Αλλά για να τους βρίσουμε, να βγάλουμε το άχτη μας, είμαστε πρώτοι. Πάντα εγώ θεωρώ ότι ο Έλληνας είναι ο πρώτος που θα τα ακούσει, αλλά θα είναι ο τελευταίος που θα τον αποθεώσουμε, άμα έχει κάνει κάτι σωστό. Και γενικά τίθεται ένα θέμα, ας πούμε, στον Ολυμπιακό. Γενικά με ενδιαφέρει να ρωτάω Ολυμπιακούς Έλληνες που μένετε στην Ελλάδα αυτό το ερώτημα. Δηλαδή, πόσο σημαντικό είναι για σένα ο Ολυμπιακός να έχει ένα μοντέλο που να βασίζεται πάνω σε Έλληνες παίχτες?
Καλά, γενικά όταν σκοράρει ένας Έλληνας παίκτης στον Ολυμπιακό, προσωπικά χαίρομαι πιο πολύ, το γουστάρω πιο πολύ. Ας πούμε και το Μασούρα, που τον έχω βρει τόσες πολλές φορές, μ' αρέσει πιο πολύ όταν βάζει γκολ αυτός παρά ο Μπιέλ. Παρόλο που μ' αρέσει πολύ ο Μπιέλ, το νιώθω πιο πολύ μέσα μου. Καλά, γενικά ότι θεωρώ πολύ σημαντικό το να παίζουν Έλληνες σε ελληνική ομάδα. Αυτό θα πρέπει να είναι κάτι αυτονόητο. Προωθεί έτσι και με το να παίζουν Έλληνες στις ομάδες, η Super League, βοηθάει και την εθνική ομάδα. Έτσι. Π.χ. μου έχει κάνει πάρα πολύ εντύπωση τα παιδιά του ΠΑΟΚ που έχει βγάλει, π.χ. ο Κωνσταντέγιας που είναι απίστευτος και τώρα παίζει στην εθνική, και ο Κωνσταντέγιας, Κουγεράκης, ακόμα και ο Ντόι, που ποιος περίμενε, ας πούμε, τον Ντόι το καλοκαίρι να σου έλεγαν αυτός θα είναι ο βασικός center back, γιατί εντάξει, βασικός center back ήταν πριν ένα μήνα περίπου έπαιζε, ότι αυτός θα ήταν που θα έλυνε τα αμυντικά σου τρόπος του λέγει, τα αμυντικά σου προβλήματα. Ναι, γενικά, ας πούμε, θα έπρεπε να πάρει παράδειγμα ο Ολυμπιακός π.χ. από τον ΠΑΟΚ, που έχει τόσα Ελληνόπουλα μέσα. Πιστεύω είναι πολύ σημαντικό. Τελευταίο
ερώτημα. Θεωρείς ότι θα βοηθούσε στην Ελλάδα αν υπήρξε πώς το λένε στα ελληνικά, ένα μίνιμουμ αριθμός Ελλήνων παιχτών σε κάθε εντεκάδα, όπως έχουν στην Τουρκία, Φερρυπίν?
Στην Τουρκία υπάρχει αυτός ο κανονάς?
Ναι. Νομίζω πρέπει να έχουν, I think they have to have five players in their matchday squad or in their starting 11. I need to look that up, but they have rules on that. They have requirements in Turkey, like X amount of Turkish players either in the starting lineup or in the squad, like matchday squad.
Ίσως θα μπορούσαν να κάνουν ένα minimum π.χ. με 3-4 να δουν πώς θα είναι αυτό και μετά μπορούν να το εξελίξουν για περισσότερους, σαν δοκιμαστικό να το πω.
Είναι ενδιαφέρον. Είναι ενδιαφέρον.
It's three, Costa.
It's three. What, in the match day squad or in the lineup?
Three Turks have to start in the match day. They have to be in the starting 11. After that, it doesn't matter. But they just have to be starting.
Πάρη, χάρηκα πολύ. Χαρήκαμε. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Φίλε.
Εγώ ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Συνεχίστε την καλή δουλειά.
Ευχαριστούμε για τη στήριξη. Να είσαι καλά. Καλό βράδυ.
Καλό βράδυ. Καλό βράδυ. Γεια σας.
Bye. His response, his answer kind of surprised me. I always expect, once I found out he was 18, I expected that younger kids kind of cared less, you know what I mean, about having maybe Greeks in the lineup, and maybe it was just the older generations that cared. But I feel like his feelings, or I don't know. I feel like that's how most club fans, doesn't matter what team they support, how they would feel. But it did surprise me that he felt that way.
There was a comment in here that I wanted to bring up. Fulham fan 26. Fulham fan?
I saw that earlier.
Hello, Fulham fan. Do you think we have a realistic chance at the title now? Wow, this is the question, isn't it? And I see Kostas Lianos, our friend and co-host, is in the chat as well, saying now it's over. Man, is it over? I don't know. Honestly, I think that our chances now with Bar injured and Kanos injured have dramatically decreased, I would say. I think we have a stability with Bar and Sokratis. I felt confidence the last few games with those two. Even today, there was a moment in the first half, like besides the fact that Bar was dominant in the air, like he defended well. Yeah. There was a moment in the first half where he got the ball down the left-hand side and he broke down the wing. You remember that? And he got a cross off and he won a corner and he went to the crowd and he was giving it this and was encouraging the crowd to get behind the team. And you just see like, wow, Bar with confidence again. And you're thinking, this is the Bar that we remember before the back injury, like before he started having problems with his back. But honestly, mate, like from what we've seen this season, who's to say, like, you know, we play PAOK on Wednesday, we beat them. We still have to play Panathinaikos. We still have to play AEK twice.
Right.
We still have to play those teams twice.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, I think our chances. I think our chances are dented more by the injuries than by the result tonight.
That was the point I was going to bring up. Not because it's just 3 points, because there's a couple of comments coming in here from multiple people about it being 3 points.
Can I just bring this comment? Come on, guys. Red just did his mistake because he was afraid to see Ari in OnlyFans. That's the only explanation. So hang on. Let's just remind the fans.
We don't have to.
What was your pledge? What was your pledge?
The pledge was if we hit the second place spot at the end of the season, like we finished in the second place spot, you guys would see my titties. That was the pledge in the exact words.
Second place too.
Well, because the whole point was I didn't think we could get there. So I guess technically, if we hit first, maybe I don't have to do it if we go by the book, right? No, I'm just kidding. But that was the pledge. That was the pledge.
Oh dear.
Now I don't even remember. Oh, the 3 points. Because there are some people saying it's just 3 points, and then there are people that are responding to that. But for me, it's that this 3 points for me was necessary to kind of buffer. I don't want to even say buffer, but we needed this win because the points are not going to be easy to come by. We've got PAOK and Panathinaikos this week. We haven't done well in these types of derbies, and Panathinaikos always finds a way at the end, whether through penalty or whatever.
Not tonight. Not tonight.
They still got a penalty.
Sake, they got a
They just messed it up.
Camwood.
Oh, here, look, Costa, right here. Michel. No, do it, Adi, 1 or 2. I need this content to motivate my players. Michel saying the players need to see my titties to feel better. Look, man, if I got to do it. I got to fall on the sword. I have to fall on the sword. Don't worry about it.
There was a comment earlier, and Mano, I think you brought it up. Now I remember it, but I can't find your comment. And it was somebody wrote that it's not Retsos' fault. And I could get in trouble for saying this. It's the people that bought Retsos to the club. And honestly, like, I have nothing against the lad. Like, when he burst onto the scene, I loved what I saw from him. And we all know he's been plagued by injuries,
Right?
ever since the first season ended at Leverkusen. And I'm wondering, on what basis did we pay his fee? Because we've brought him in on loan. We brought him in on loan when he came in at the start of this season. But the news is that we triggered his buy option in the winter. And it was relatively low, I think to the tune of like 800,000, like less than $1 million. Is relatively low amount. But the guy just does not look like a player that can play for Olympiacos.
Yeah.
He doesn't look up to it anymore. And this is my point. Olympiacos is not a charity.
No.
It's not a charity. It's not a... I get it. Like, he's a bit of a special case because he grew up at the club. He's an academy product. Like, he's not, he's not in his 30s. I don't know. How old is Retsos? He's 25, 26 now. Like, we signed him.
It's not like he's at the age where it's
no, it's not like it's it's completely hopeless.
Here, give me 1 second. I can tell you how old he is.
But my point is
24.
Should we not have waited until the end of the season to trigger his option at least? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off on this, and I'm being unfair. But it's not the first time we see him. We see him like this. I mean, he's made he's made a howler today. Can he do it? I don't know. I'm really doubtful. And fans in the chat, in the comment, if you think I'm being too harsh, like, let me know. We've dropped the link back into the chat. I'm gonna say this one more time, guys. The lines are open if you'd like to join us. Come on, have a chat, ask questions, let us know how you feel about today's game. If you want to have a rant at the manager, if you want to have a rant in general, get on. Come on in Greek. You can come on without your camera. Links in the chat. Join us wherever you are. Great to talk to fans all over the world. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. We've been going about 35, 40 minutes, and there's more than 50 of you in the chat and less than 30 likes. Come on, guys. It doesn't cost you anything. Literally takes you 2 seconds. Just like hit the like button. It really helps.
Hundreds of you have already passed through today. Passed through the channel, checked in at least a little bit. So please hit that like, interact. It helps us find more red and white fans, more Greek football fans too. So please and thank you. Costa, we have a guy that asked a question. Looks like somebody rolled on his keyboard to get that screen name, ASDFJH. Anyway, I'm confused. Why was Retsos subbed on instead of Doi? Doi wasn't on the game day sheet. I didn't see him at the very least. He was
wearing a hoodie. He was wearing a hoodie. He was on the bench.
So yeah, it's that's why. So I mean, it was it's not like Michel gave himself more choices, because that's the only choice he gave him for the center back position. And I don't know. Still his fault either way. I don't think Doi's injured. I don't remember him being anyone saying anything. So no, it was a choice by Michel to have him over Ndoi. A choice that I don't think a mistake I don't think he will make again. At least I hope not. But who knows? Regarding the Retzos transfer, Costa, I don't know. The only thing that I can think of, the only thing that makes sense to me, because it's clearly not, it wasn't a business idea. You know what I mean? I don't see. I mean, if somebody really thought that there was a real profit situation here, or like a real upside to this, then like a monetary upside, or even an upside on the field, I don't know what to say to them. The only thing I can think of is it was an emotional signing. And by an emotional signing, I mean, as you brought up before, he's a son of Piria. You know what I mean? He grew up in the academy. That's what I mean when I say that. And maybe we thought, okay, he's had a rough go of it. Career's not doing so well.
Yeah.
This is a chance to get him back for basically nothing. And maybe we can re-find his form. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. But then here we go again. We've taken too many of these risks this season, starting with Vrsaljko, Marcelo, and those are more high-profile risks in that regard. I understand, like, it's okay, during the course of a transfer window, whether it's summer or winter, you can make like one of those. Like, oh, okay, like, we made a couple of moves and here's a risk. Here's a real, as we say in the US, a Hail Mary. You know what I mean? Something that's a long shot, may not turn out, but it's a risk. Something more risky that maybe, in the midst of everything, gives you some balance in the portfolio of signings you've made, right? But that's all we did for the most part over the summer, is all of those types of signings. Everybody that has some kind of issues, even as much as I loved Inbam Hwang, as much as I knew he was going to be a hit here, it is similar with him too, because he had an injury coming in. That's probably the only reason we got him, was the fact that he had an injury coming into us. So that's the type of business we did. And unfortunately, for the most, outside of Inbam Hwang, what other player that we brought in this summer that had an injury or something turned out? Not Vrsaljko, not Marcelo. Did James come in injured, or just James unable to run? Does that count? I don't know, man. I don't know. Ghost, I think you're muted, buddy.
That never gets old. We've got another fan in the chat. Before I bring on the next intervener, I want to go through some comments. Sports podcasts. Hello, my friends. Welcome. Καλώς όρισες, φίλε. He says, είναι μόνο 3 πόντι με 8 μάτς να απομένουν. Ας μην απαγοητευόμαστε. Όλοι θα χάσουν βαθμούς μέχρι το τέλος. Καλησπέρα, παιδιά. So our friend says, it's just 3 points. There's 8 matches to go. Let's not get disappointed. The others are going to drop points too. Good evening. Καλησπέρα και σε σένα, φίλε. Ευχαριστούμε. That's kind of along the sentiment that I mentioned, and I think then, following up, Manos making exactly the same point as me. It's not so much the points; it's really the injuries to 2 key players, and Bar. The thing with Bar and Cisse this season is just so weird, and do you know what? At the beginning of the season, I asked a question on our Twitter. What is the best defensive centre-back pairing of this squad? And you got such a wide variety of different responses. If you asked that question when Semedo was around the first season, the answer was always, hang on, I'm going to catch myself here. What was our constant centre-back pairing? It was Semedo Meria for a long time, wasn't it? In Martins' second season, the beginning of Martins' second season.
Correct. But then Meria went like 3 straight games letting own goals.
Yeah. Then Meria had a nightmare, and it became Semedo Bar.
With Cisse sprinkled in.
Yeah, Cisse Bar was the duo we had at Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we don't have a solid defensive partnership. It's been a problem all season. And that's one of the biggest issues that we need to tackle this summer.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's going to happen to Bar. Bar and Cisse are going into the last year of their contract this summer. Right. Socrates' contract is up.
Yep.
This summer.
No,
can you check
Costa,
that? Can you do that, actually?
I just remembered. No. Second season, you're right. It was Semedo Cisse because Baz surgence resurgence was in Martins' third year. Because remember, Ba was wasn't he one of the ones voted in the awards, our first ever award show? He was one of the ones voted most improved that season.
I can't remember.
So I think Ba, it was because then that season, that's when Cisse went on loan to Saint Etienne.
That was Cisse. That was Cisse.
Yeah. So it would have been Ba in the second season. It would have been after the Media mess ups. It would have been Semedo Cisse. Now Acosta, maybe I know this is probably a question we wouldn't do until the end of the season.
Yeah,
and we did talk about this a lot in the fall, especially before Michel came. But Southpaw coming in here with the curveball, with the difficult question. The single most important question that needs an answer this year is who was responsible for all of the transfer flops? So we'll take a quick break before we do the. I mean, it was a draw, so I don't know how much we want to do man of the match coach's grade, but you know what? Maybe we bring the guest in and have him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's been waiting patiently. Hello to our next guest. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm John. I'm calling from London.
Yes, John.
Hi guys. Thank you.
Are you the Fulham fan?
I am.
Nice to have you, buddy.
Thanks for.
What's the what do Olympiacos and Fulham have in common this season?
This season, not much. I mean, Fulham's doing pretty well. Olympiacos, not so much.
Marco Silva, innit?
Yeah. We actually have a Greek in the backroom team as well, from Silva, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Analyst. Anyway, I wanted to ask, what do you think the future is of the manager? Does Michel have a future after today? I mean, in the first half, it looks so good, and then these crazy substitutions. And if not, who do you think we should be looking at beyond this season?
Well, John, before we answer your question, you're going to answer our question. Who's responsible for the transfer flops?
That's difficult. I mean, I guess it's the management, right? The
backroom,
yeah. That's what I would say. I mean, every coach, we've had 3 coaches, right? They've all brought in their own flops. It's been Nottingham Forest style this season with all the crazy transfers. Too many, I think. Too many for my liking.
Yeah, well.
No settled squad. Yeah, I think it is the backroom.
Goes on the backroom. All right, John. Well, Gosta, you and I may have similar opinions about this. I'm not sure. For me, I mean, look, if all things held equal, right? I would say no. You don't give Michel the job moving forward. However, if you're the one in charge of Olympiacos, and what Michel, we already said when he was hired and he was brought in, this was an impossible task because it was back then. Now, we are here. We're 3 points from the top. If he does find a way to get us the points we need and we win the title from as far back as we were, I don't think they have a choice but to offer him the job. Does that make sense? Personally, and again, all things held equal, I would not give it to him. But he pulls off the upset of the century, the decade, I'll say, not the century. I don't think they have a choice. They have to give it to him because he did it. He did what we thought was the impossible. Regardless of all the tactical stuff we talk about, how his inability to manage games sometimes, the crazy mistakes that he makes, I think they have to give him the job. So don't be surprised if that does happen, that he stays. Costa, you tell me your opinion on that.
No, I think it's hard to get rid of him, given the fact that he signed a 2-year contract. If he wins the league, you can't get rid of him. Even though for me, he should be nothing more than an interim manager until the end of the season. It's clear in my mind. Even if he does win the league, I think. But you can't. They did that with Bajevic. They did that with Bajevic the season that we moved into the Karaiskaki and Rivaldo was on the team and we won the league. We did the double. And they said, all right, there's the door. and we brought in a new manager. Who would I like to see? Blah, mate.
It's funny you brought up Bajevic too. It's such a great comparison because from the stuff we've heard from other players, not just like Peter Filipakos, but other players that were coached under Bajevic, like he was another guy that was like a really good for the mentality of the squad, right? Like what did Peter Filipakos tell us? I would have run through a wall for Bajevic. And that's the type of energy, that's the type of emotion you get from the players and Michel. So at least the stuff that we've heard. So I love that comparison because in terms of management, the way that their impact on players with their mentality, it's very similar.
I don't know, mate. Bajevic was a very good coach in his era, like that period of football.
Correct.
I think he couldn't. It's hard to say. Could he manage today in today's football? I mean, he's not around. He's a lot older, but that time is past. Who would you like to see, John? It's hard to say. Like, who would we want to see? Like, I think you ask most Olympiacos fans, they'd be like, "Bring Valverde back." Of course, but
never happened.
Is that realistic? A lot of people are talking about Marcelinho. What was the last club he was at? Villarreal. I think he's still a free agent. We were looking at him in the summer, and there was talk of him waiting to take the Spain national team job after the World Cup, but that hasn't happened. So he's available, but a lot of it will really depend on where do we finish. Like, are we in a Champions League? Are we in a Champions League spot or not? Are we third place? It will really define, who we'll be able to go out and get. But curious your thoughts on that.
I think above all, there needs to be a clear vision from the next manager, and the clear style of play, and not kind of these short-term appointments with these scattergun tactics that are just not working out. I think there needs to be that vision. That's the most important thing. Some of these names, Marcelino sounds good, a lot of these guys, but I guess we also need to see who's available and who's even willing to come.
Well, and that was from that playlist had a comment. Don't forget, no other coach wanted the job. Bilic came in, saw the condition of the players and refused. He didn't even finish the season at the club he was just at. So who knows?
What about this comment from GS says, "Go Portuguese. It's a proven formula." Marco Silva, Martins. Do you agree with that?
Paulo Bento, wasn't he Portuguese?
Yes, he was.
I mean,
John, what do you think? Portuguese,
or are you Fonseca? Do you think we could get Fonseca?
I think Fonseca's a bit of a stretch, but I mean Portuguese. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. But if we find a great Portuguese coach, then I'm all for it.
I think what John said earlier about somebody that has like a vision and a plan. See, the problem is, who had all of that, did his homework, had a plan, very tactically astute. Players have even said he's very tactically astute. He's what was the word? What was the word that was used? A football fanatic. Corberán had all of those things, but we expected him. We brought him in. You brought in a guy that was a long-term guy and expecting short-term results. Corberán, in my opinion, had he been brought in over the summer, even if it was this summer, it would have been a completely different story. But we'll never catch Corberán. He's doing fantastic work over in the championship, so never happened.
I think that is the issue of trying to implement a long-term guy and expecting short-term results. If you really want someone in the long term, you have to be willing to put up with some short-term difficulties. But I mean, if it goes catastrophically, then obviously it's not gonna fly. I think a guy like Corberán, can you imagine Bielsa? That would be crazy.
Do you think Bielsa?
I don't know if he'd come. I don't know if he'd come, but
what club did Bielsa say no to because he wanted to manage the B team or the U23 team or whichever it was for the rest of the season?
I think it was Everton.
Was it Everton?
Yeah, I
And they
think it
said
was.
no. That was, to me, what a request, right? Like, when I heard that, I thought to myself, man, what an interesting situation. But I would love to have Bielsa here. Oh, here you go, Costa. Almeida should be at Olympiacos.
Almeida got done by Micho in Hagia Sophia. But I what I like about Almeida, I've said it on the show before. I think he has a very clear style of play.
Mhm.
It's very it's very clear what he wants his teams to do. Plays high up the field, high press, ball on the ground, aggressive. Yeah, I mean, at least he has a style. Postecoglou. He's
He
going to
wouldn't
leave
come,
some.
would he? He would never come.
But he's
I
an
think-
Ajax. He's an Ajax fan too.
Yeah,
I
the
know that.
Aussies would go nuts if he came.
It doesn't really matter so much that Postecoglou is an Ajax fan. I don't give a shit. Like
Yeah.
personally, he's a professional. He's a good coach. Like, would he leave Celtic to come and manage us? That's to give him a pretty good payday for him to come over. Gattuso.
So
That
Is
would
every-
be. I've been thinking about that. I've
every
been
day
thinking.
my like, yeah.
I've been thinking that could be a possibility this summer, and it scares the shit out of me.
How about Paris here? Jovanovic with an Olympiacos budget.
Jovanovic is a good coach, man. He's proven it in Cyprus for a long time, and whoever says Cyprus Farmers League, what are we?
And don't forget, he did a job for Red Star too. Before that,
Was it? He was there before. You're right.
Yeah, he coached Red Star. He did very well with them.
River RR as a Tottenham fan, no fucking way.
Who does well at Tottenham though? Who does well there?
I can't. He's got too much of an ego. Villas-Boas.
Can I ask? Do you think that fewer managers will be willing to come to Olympiacos than 5, maybe 10 years ago?
Absolutely.
I think it's more difficult now.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
And do you think
no
there's
guarantee
maybe
for Champions
I think there's maybe the gap between the kind of manager we expect and the kind of manager we can realistically get at the moment?
I think this is a really interesting question because, like 5-10 years ago, we were qualifying for Champions League automatically. So automatically, you can attract a different kind of player, different kind of managers. Like, come and play for Olympiacos. We play in the Champions League. Done. Like, you can plan and you can sign players in June, July, knowing the player knows I'm not going to a great league, but I'm going to be playing in Europe, so I'll be, everyone will see me play in the Champions League. So it's a great opportunity. You don't have that anymore. So I think that's a major handicap that we have nowadays, which can't attract players. But not only that, is that it just, the way it always goes is you have to wait until August, the last few days of August, see who's left on the market, and then you can sign players. By that point, pre-season's over. They haven't trained with the team. They don't know their teammates as well. It's then harder for the manager to integrate them in. It's changed massively for Olympiacos, which is why I also asked that question about Greek players, like bringing in players from the academy more. Like, what's your model? What's your business model? How do you want your team to run? These kinds of questions we should not, we're asking, like the club should be asking themselves these questions. If it takes us so long to bring players in because the Greek league is not the priority for most good players, and we don't have that European ticket, that the carrot that we can offer to a player, then what do we do? Like, we need to change something. But that's it is a good question.
No, and it's an amazing question. And remember, part of that is ever since we lost those guaranteed spots, the club, and not just us, you can say the clubs in Greece. Well, maybe not, because we're the ones that have usually been winning. We'll just say we haven't adapted to that very well, right? Because we still operate as if we can get some of those players. And then the fans still want those BAM signings. You know what I mean? But the approach has to be different. We have to develop better. We have to be, and it seemed like for a while under Martins, especially in those first 2 years, that maybe we kind of laid the groundwork for that. Even in the third season, you know what I mean? The young players we were picking up, the Mari Camaras of the world, even Ba, you can say. It seems like we were looking to build more with young youth and then develop and move from there. But now it's just with everything that's been going on, it kind of seems like even that is up in the air.
I just want to bring up a comment. Spiro Mbaxito, I wouldn't like Jovanovic as Olympiacos manager. Just saying he did a good job at Aboel, he did a good job at Red Star. He's doing an all right job at the shit show Panathinaikos, for God's sake. But no,
Yeah.
Not a manager for us. We, as fans, we all have very specific things we want to see from Olympiacos. We want our team to attack, play good football, score lots of goals. We know we don't need to talk about, okay, what is Olympiacos? We need to find that kind of manager. Do I think Jovanovic is that kind of manager? No, I don't think he's that kind of manager. He's a good manager for some teams, maybe not for us. At least he's not what we want to see. Doesn't play that kind of football that Olympiacos fans would like to see. So I just want to clear that up. Sorry, Ari, you brought up another comment.
Yeah, I wanted to address this too, because I understand from Playlist, he says Almeida's overrated. Don't forget that he's the only one that made a full summer preparation and had no European matches. Even the withdrawals were a joke. He has the best trained team, and he's still second. I'm going to answer this with a couple of things. First, how many teams have done to Olympiacos what we saw done to us by Ike? And we've had bad seasons where they could have, and they didn't. In the last decade, how many teams have done to us what Ike did in the Karaiskaki, where we could barely touch the ball at home?
I don't remember that.
And I'm not talking about European games. I'm talking about in Greece. Right. So that counts for something. And okay, I mean, you could say Olympiacos had a full summer too. We had a full summer with Martins, and he sucked the dick. I mean, I don't know. Like the second part, I'm not sure that I buy into. I mean, the thing with both of them is, and this is what's important to me, at least. You guys have to remember, Olympiacos, when it comes to budgets, is in a different stratosphere than these guys. Okay? Jovanovic is dealing literally with nothing, a nothing budget at Panathinaikos. So it's commendable what he's done there. It really is, despite the fact that we want them to lose, like that notwithstanding. Ike, what budget does Melissanidis give Ike? It's not like they make big ticket signings. They've made some smart ones though. Levi Garcia, Amrabat. I know a lot of people think that he screws things up on the right side. I think he's a pretty good player. They've made a lot of really good signings, smart signings. You can't and you can't tell me that they have players that their starting 11 is better quality than ours. No, our individual quality is way better than them. But yet, look what he's done there. Look what he's made work there. It is more than commendable. So I say they're overrated, say he's overrated as a coach, fine. What he's done there at Ike for this season is noteworthy, for me at least.
Well, I want to ask our guest the last question before letting him go. John, James Rodriguez, keep or get rid at the end of the season? It's a tasty one for you before you go. John still there?
We might have lost him.
No, I think we lost John.
But you can answer your own
All
question.
right. Shall I answer my own question? Sell, quick sell. Some people are saying we can't sell. His contract's up. Yeah. Well, maybe that's a question for another live, Ari.
Yeah, I I think so. Well, I mean, it's not even a sell. You can't sell him. Isn't you have to
Keep him if he stays.
say
What? Keep him if he stays?
I guess no. I guess what he's saying is if he signs the contract, instead of selling him, because then he's stuck with you for a year, so you could sell him for something, you keep him and let him play with the team. I think that's what he means there. Unless he's trolling us, but I don't know. That did make me laugh a little bit.
Chuckle.
Ooh, Costa. Before we close it up here, I like this. From Red or Dead, the issue remains the same. Olympiacos destroyed for some reason all its infrastructure and blew up this summer. My guess, he, Marinaki, I'm assuming he's referring to, clustered structures with Forest. Clustered. Do you think there was some channel delineation there?
I think that's a fact.
I know. I meant more so that, like, instead of them operating like with their own needs separately, it was almost as if he's negotiating with both teams in mind and then just throwing players wherever. It was definitely interconnected. I mean, the way deals were done, like the Scarpa stuff, Weizhou Huang, the deals basically kind of dangling the EPL carrot to people.
Josh Bowler.
You know what I mean? And then saying, oh, but you have to play in Greece. And if you do well there, you can play in the EPL. So, interesting.
No, I think you've got to look at the facts. Like, we know that there are, Olympiacos staff that transferred over.
Well,
and then some others that came back that are less popular. Not popular in Forest, and I don't know if the certain individual that I won't name is popular in Greece either.
Yeah. And even Martins in that interview with the coach's voice talked about a lot of things changed with Olympiacos, so he brought that up too. Again, we won't name names.
You're right to raise that, and we've talked about that amongst us. Like, Martin said that things changed in January, and some of the journalists in Greece, they played dumb, they played idiot. Like, they were like, "Oh, what changed? We don't understand." But yeah, we know that there was some certain personnel that came back from Forest, and
certain other personnel that were unofficially involved. And when we say January, we're talking about the previous January, FYI.
Last January. Yeah.
So for people that maybe were confused, but anyway, Costa, do you want to do man of the match coach's grade for a draw? I did throw a poll up. I did a poll up, but
yeah. Well, let's see what the poll's saying. So yeah, we got. Why don't we do ours? And okay, guys, last chance. If you haven't voted your man of the match and you're following live, you can do that now. If you're following on YouTube, you can vote. We've put up Fortounis, Socrates, Inbom Juan, and Pep. Let us know who you thought your man of the match was. If your man of the match isn't in the vote on YouTube, you can drop it in the chat as well. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hundreds of you been following tonight. Leave us a like. It helps to widen our reach, get out to more fans across the world. If you're listening after the live, leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts about the game or anything else. Let's do it. Man of the match. Who's yours, Ari?
Let's see. For me, it's in between two players. It would because when you don't win, I mean, even when we win, I always think of the MVP as the player that put us in the best position to win or put us in the best position to get the result. And for a draw, what player do I think gave us the best opportunities to get the result? And there's two players in particular that I thought are in that discussion. One is the goal scorer himself, Inbom Huang, and the other one was Kostas Fortounis, who was in the first half. Every touch was he couldn't do anything wrong. Lovely flicks, lovely plays. I would probably give it to Costa. He also ended up getting the assist when he took the corner. I would give it to Costa. But it's really tight for me between him and Inbom Huang. I could give it to Inbom Huang as well. So, but I'm just going to stick with my gut. My first thought on that one, I'll give it to Costa. Close runner-up Inbom Huang, and then I guess you could give. I thought Rodinei had a great game today, also, especially first half. I mean, the guy. I love watching him get forward and take players on. Maybe it's just such a breath of fresh air. So maybe because I'm always comparing him to some of the other right backs we've had recently, but I thought he had a great game. Again, I'm going to give a nice shout to Oleg too. I thought Oleg was very positive in the first half. The last couple games, look, a little rest. Maybe that was it. Maybe, maybe we were right from the beginning. Maybe a little rest was all he needed. A little competition from somebody like Ramon to really get him back in the gear. And coach's grade. I mean, it started off well, and then he just got everything so wrong. I feel like I should be averaging out like the first half, second half scores, but I think in the end, I'm just going to give him an F. That's a D minus. Or a D, a solid D. We'll just do D.
To save time, I'm just going to say, like, you covered me. I don't need to add, or I wouldn't really change much, if anything, of what you just said. Even like a couple of you mentioned it in the chat, Oleg today. You see what happens with a bit of rest. I think it's the first time he hasn't gone on international duty, and you could see like overlaps and energy close to previous levels that we'd come to be accustomed to. The first second season he was there, so that was nice to see. We know his limits, of course, what he's good at, what he's not so good at, but massive improvement from him. Rodinei too I thought was brilliant for as long as the team had rhythm, and even in moments where, in the second half, he was almost playing by himself, like creating and doing things that players further forward should have been doing. I think he's been a great signing, and otherwise, I mean, it's Inbom Huang for me kind of maybe edges it, in a sense that he's put us in a position with the goal and just generally dictating the tempo. I think Gostagi had a great game as well. Again. And I wouldn't take him out of this team for any James Rodriguez, to be honest with you. James Rodriguez is, for me, unfortunately, I think he's done. If he's not fit for the Bout game, you can't play him in the next game either. He's a player that needs game time. He needs rhythm. He was never known, even when he was at his peak, was never known as a team player. You'd always have players built around him to let him flourish. I don't think we're in a position to do that as Olympiacos. And for me, you don't take Costas out right now. The way he's playing, the rhythm that he has, the flow that he has, you don't take him out, and you don't change his position to play James. And I don't care. And I don't care if I don't particularly care if James Rodriguez leaves at the end of the season. Just that's where I'm at with that issue. And with the manager as well, I agree with you. I could give him an F. D minus is probably nice.
Yeah. Buzzcut Costa, baby. I think he likes it. I think all feeling the wind, like, you know what I mean? Just go through the hair, go through that.
Do you think he feels faster?
Maybe. Who knows? But looking at the poll, we're going to look at who you guys voted for man of the match. Now, we did get some comments earlier that Sergi Canos was, for some people, man of the match. So some people wrote that because it wasn't one of the options put in there. So we did have a handful of people that say for them Sergi was. But with a winner with 62% of the vote is Inbom Huang, or sorry, 61% of the vote, Inbom Huang, and then 34% to Costas Fortunis, followed by 3% for Pepiel, 3% for Socrates. So that is the vote for the fan vote, at the very least, for the MVP. You still have a chance. You guys can get your votes in before we close everything up. Oh, another question here from Hussein. You got an answer for this, Costa? What do you think about the
yeah.
ones that are on loan and will be back?
Man, if we start answering that question, we'll be here for another hour at least. The amount of players we've got out on loan, like I can already think a couple off the top of my head, like Zinkanago, Onyekuru, Agibu Kamara, Fadiga, Lovera,
Dabo.
Dabo,
Yeah.
Leidner.
Doran Leidner. He's
Doran
looking
Leidner,
pretty
of
good.
course. Gitzos. We've got like a starting 11 and more players that we've sent out on loan.
Yeah, we'll see.
The bass player that we've apparently signed, Bilios, another left back. Yeah. Now we've got 4 left backs for the next season.
Did we sign him? I thought they were just talking about it.
Five left backs. Hang on. Next season, it looks like we're going to have Reabchuk, Ramon, Leidner, Kitsos, and Bilios. 5.
And don't forget the Italian press. The Italian press that said that Roma's not renewing Madi, so Madi's back.
Camara. Yep. Thank you.
So, a quick comment I wanted to touch on here from our friend that made his account by rolling his face on his keyboard. I think this thing about James is out of nowhere. He's been ridiculously good every time he's played. Miles better than BL has ever been. Just stick him on the wing. I don't care. The problem is though, James can't do the running, man. See, this is like where, and maybe we should clarify, Costa, because James, and trust me, we've done ASDFGH, whatever. If you've seen our
how do you pronounce your name? Can you spell it out phonetically, maybe?
But we did a stat profile on James Rodriguez, and his distribution skills are incredible. The problem is behind the ball is not so good, and that's kind of where the thing is. You need, if you're gonna have James on the pitch, you need guys that are running, doing a lot of stuff around him, and unfortunately, we do have guys that can do that. I don't think I don't think we have all the tools. It's okay, man. We're just going to call you Rollface from now on. Don't worry about it. You can keep your name. But I think the difficulty is we just don't have all the pieces to build through James. And if he's not going to stick around, because it doesn't sound like he wants to, I mean, at least if you believe what they say in the Colombian press, he doesn't want to be here. He wants to get out. But, you know, I don't think it's worth it at this point to try and build around him. So I don't know, man. It's difficult. The Bukhalakis thing is hilarious. I don't. Oh my god,
Mamadou Kane.
Oh god, that guy.
Yeah. Pepe's on loan too.
He's not coming back for sure. Didn't he just do an article saying that he wants to stay in Portugal? There was an interview for him. We talked about it on Twitter.
He's in 2nd division Spain.
Yeah, or that was it. He wanted to stay in Spain because it suits his style of play. He's never coming back to Olympiacos. There was a whole kerfuffle between, I guess, miscommunication between Martins and him and Olympiacos. I don't know. It's that's a whole different thing. But I mean, if we're gonna start talking transfers, we'll be here for another half hour. Exactly. We're already well over. Costa,
minimum.
Any last thoughts before we go ahead and close up?
Playoffs aren't over. Let's hope for the best when it comes to the injuries to Sonu Bar and Sergi Canos. Yeah. We've got another game on Wednesday. We don't have time to, the players certainly don't have time to, we have to move on. We have to move on. They have to put their heads back up. Like, the big winner today is obviously Ajax. Panathinaikos dropping points. And actually, let's have a look at the table. Let's bring up the table. So here we are. We've got Panathinaikos now on 63 points and Ajax 63 points as well. Olympiacos are on 60 points and PAOK 57. PAOK are 3 points behind us. And they come to the Karaiskaki on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's so tight. It's so tight. I mean, we've made a gift to everyone today, actually.
Yep.
PAOK included. Like we could have been ahead of them, and there would have been more pressure, I think, on PAOK coming to Karaiskaki on Wednesday, and now they come and they I don't want to think about them winning on Wednesday. Jesus Christ, like it's I think every week we're going to see some surprise results, and somebody mentioned it earlier. There's 8 games to go. We've got to get our act together. I think we need to activate certain players. I want to see Botucci. Like I can't watch Gary Rodriguez and Masuras anymore.
Yep.
This season's been a roller coaster. You don't know what's coming next, and I think that's only going to continue until the end of these playoffs.
I agree with you there. Well, boys and girls, thank you everyone for listening, especially if you made it this far. Always happy to do these. Hopefully next time it's under better circumstances. Huge game coming up against PAOK. Again, I mean, guys, the stakes have never been higher. It's never been this competitive of a playoff since they started doing it. So a lot to look forward to. Keep an eye out. Stats are going to come. We'll do our post-match stats throughout the week until the PAOK game. A lot of content will be condensed because we have 2 more games in the next 7 days, I think it is, if I remember that correctly. So keep an eye out. Check socials. Make sure you keep an eye out for other lives and more content that's coming out. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. This is Gate 7 International, by the fans, for the fans, and we'll see you guys next time. Κάτι μαγικό, όπου πας εσύ θα με πάντα